The last 18 months have been exhausting. Constant change, long lines, and ever-evolving rules that take a mountain of energy to keep up with. All of this just compounded the fatigue I was feeling. There have been periods of heightened anxiety, deep depressions, and just a general sense of malcontent with life. And I began to ask myself, why? What am I getting out of all this? What am I actually working towards? And what are my goals? I decided maybe it's time to reevaluate things, to take a moment, to dig a little deeper, and potentially make some changes. This is a reset, and it begins with an exercise in intentional living. But what is intentional living? According to Wikipedia, intentional living is any lifestyle based on an individual or group's conscious attempts to live according to their values and beliefs. These can include lifestyles based on religious, political, or ethical values, as well as for self-improvement. But in order to live this way, first you need to understand what your core values and beliefs actually are. Take a moment to think about what values guide you and are important to you right now. So some examples of this could be honesty, spirituality, faith, personal growth, maybe it's health or fitness, family, compassion, community. All of these are good examples. What we're going to do is choose 5 core values and write them out across the top of a page. I've listed my core values as family, spirituality, mindfulness, personal growth, and fulfilling career. I just want to note that these values and beliefs can change over time. So don't feel like you're stuck with whatever you pick out today. It can take a little bit of trial and error to figure out what is going to work for you, and that may not work for you long term. I've recently launched a new community on Vibely. It's a space where you can participate in and share your progress on challenges like the Core Values Challenge that goes along with this video. It's also got a chat space in there so you can encourage each other as the challenge goes along. I'll place a link to it down below. If you're interested, please feel free to come and join. Now that we know what our core values are, we can take some time to think about the kinds of activities that we do regularly every week that are either in alignment or not in alignment with these core values. So begin to think about your week and the kinds of activities and things that you do regularly throughout that time. I think it's important as you go through this exercise not to label the things that you're writing down as either good or bad, but to remove judgment from the equation, because that can produce feelings of guilt or shame, and that's not what we're going for here. Some examples of things that you can write down in this section would be talking with my mom, which falls under my family value, making YouTube videos, which falls under my fulfilling career value, journaling, which falls under the personal growth value, meditation, which comes under spirituality, yoga, which comes under spirituality for me, and talk time with my husband, which falls under the family category. So go ahead and fill out your sheet of paper with the activities that you do each week. So there are 2 more categories where your activities may fall under. One is neutral. So this is a spot where something like cleaning the kitchen, which may not necessarily fall under your core values bucket, but it's still work that needs to get done. We're going to label those as neutral. And then the last piece is activities that might come into direct conflict with one of your core values. Now, for me, this could mean binge watching Instagram stories or reels, because it comes into direct conflict with a couple of my values. One being a fulfilling career, because it eats up a lot of my time. And the second one being mindfulness, because a lot of that is just mindless scrolling. The other activity that I can think of that would qualify in this list for me that comes into direct conflict would be avoiding a difficult situation instead of dealing with it head on, which comes into conflict with my value of personal growth. Now that we know where we stand, we can begin to knock things off the conflict list. It's important to just do one thing at a time and make small changes so that you don't get overwhelmed with the process and end up giving up. The goal here is to slowly transition your activities so that they fall more in alignment with what your core values are. I would probably start with no longer binge watching Instagram reels and stories, and I would replace that time with something like reading, which would contribute to my value of personal growth. All right, I think we've made some really good progress for today. This really is the first step in leading a more intentional and more fulfilled life. I would love for you to join me in my quest to live a more intentional and fulfilling life. And don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button if you want to see more from me. Until next time, be gentle with yourself.